but I do like the 2018 Optic Hollow, and I feel that that is a really good gold standard for Josh Allen.
Extending, and able to find Stephon Diggs.
It's gold. It's gold, baby. Gold is hot. Gold is hot.
Anything where there's a winner or a loser. It's Hurts going for the end zone. It's caught.
And I love the 2004 Topps design right here, man. These 2004 Topps Chrome, that same rookie year as Larry Fitz. I guarantee you someone would reach $130 on this Gabe Davis if he puts up another game in a primetime scenario. We talked about the first Thursday night game against the Rams. Gabe Davis goes off for anything like he did in the AFC Championship game. Are you kidding me? Of course, they're going to reach for this card.
Fires it into wide open. Remarkable. Touchdown, Buffalo.
Right now, his 2018 Optic Hollow is $125 raw compared to Josh Allen's at $500. That's a big difference there, Steve, considering that Lamar Jackson had the season that he did.
Pocket collapsing. He's going to dart and run inside the 5. Jackson in for the touchdown. Oh, kind of quick by Lamar Jackson.
I know that that's your boy, so I had to share.
Heck yeah, man. The Mississippi mustache, dude. I'm going to be looking for him in like the 20th round of this draft.
Bushu with time, directing traffic. Now fires middle of the field. First down, Jacksonville.
Brady only has like 135 different rookie cards made for him, whereas Patrick Mahomes has close to 2,000.
He throws this ball from his shoestring around the guy. That's unreal.
Look at Tua now climbing up in the past 7 days. His growth in buy it now, sold volume in graded cards on eBay is up 70%.
It's by the New England team. 2 on 1st and 10 going deep. And one out catch is made by Waddle.
And with Rookie Ticket Auto, there's fewer cards in this set for Joe Burrow.
And now he fires downfield to Jamar Chase. He's got it. Wow. Takes all the way.
It's a first down. We got 1:20 seconds left. Y'all boys gonna play Madden?
It's numbered out of 25. 25 out of 25. It's Gronk doing a Gronk spike. Signature moves. Look how sick that is.
Got it for the touchdown.
T-minus 1 minute.
More juice for the gyro.
Like the juice.
T-minus 50 seconds.
Now, at the point where we're at, it is a lot easier for new people to get up to speed really quick.
T-minus 40 seconds.
Let's go.
That's a W. That's E1. That's E1. That's a W. How many people want to eat a W tonight?
T-minus 30 seconds.
Tyreek Hill taking over our camera. I think there may be a penalty for excessive celebration, but you know what? I'm going to let that one slide.
T-minus 20 seconds.
That's what I'm talking about. Now y'all some fun.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Take a deep
4,
breath.
3,
This is it right
2,
here.
1, 0.
Boom.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Thursday night's live stream. Welcome back to the Football Card Quest, guys. where we continue to talk football cards all day, every day. We appreciate you turning your attention away from the NBA Finals to join us tonight, whether you're an investor, collector, whoever you are. We're answering your questions live. But first, I got to check in with my co-host. Steve, how you doing?
Doing great, sir. And there's always a place for football here. It doesn't have to be in the middle of the season. We are football in, football out 100% of the time.
And it's buy low season, man. It's buy low season. We're in the heart of the off season. We still got OTAs and mini camps going on. And we've seen community-backed eBay snipe opportunities dropped in the chat every single week on this live stream. So keep your eyes open for guys in the chat dropping snipes. Plus, we have a couple of our own that we want to share with you guys tonight. Plus, we're going to be talking the best sets, inserts, parallels to targets, collecting and investing for late 90s, early 2000s. We're going to be comping like several different elite quarterbacks, plus talking about other quarterbacks to see if they can get to that level in 2022.
And Andy, I found some correlating news to a couple of our topics while that lovely intro was playing. So excited to go over that when the time comes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're also going to be talking about some grades and whether or not some grades are worth it or not. So before we dig in, obviously, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, help us out on the channel, support us on the quest, and make sure you don't miss out on any other steps on the quest. So we're glad to have you here. Let's see who turned out tonight in the chat. We got Matt Overby in the house, 402 Collector. Shout out to Jay Van Castle, Derek Richard getting the wings ready. Tom Bullard, what's up, man? Shelly in the house. It's USFL season. Go Stallions. Where's the Stallions located at, Steve? I have no clue.
Southern Florida.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, USF, right?
402 says need to see Steve with an NFL Shield hat.
I wore my Buccaneers hat like 2 weeks ago.
Did you get a new camera? Yeah, you do look pretty crisp there, man.
You know what's interesting is this camera or this video card has two different settings, one for gaming and one for live streaming. So if it looks better, then I did switch to the live streaming one. So
very nice, very nice.
Good to know that it's noticeable. We'll go ahead and roll with this one. I'll switch.
Dude, it looks fantastic, honestly. Yeah, the lighting, everything looks great. Derek says he's only here to bring everyone's man crush with Gabe Davis down to a reasonable level. I think this is a secret agenda by Derek because he's tired of having to reach in fantasy drafts on Underdog for Gabe Davis. He wants to get him below his ADP.
Hey, look, Gabe Davis falls into a statistical category that he's not fond of because of the success rate there. But there are outliers, and it doesn't mean that because he doesn't fall into that specific subgroup that he won't be an outlier. I think that the coaches have said enough about him to reaffirm what we believe, that he's going to pop.
I like it, man. We may dig into some of his cards later tonight.
I do actually have a couple.
Yeah,
I have one or two for us to look at later that some people in the stream are going to be like, that's too high. And I think I might actually agree because I'm seeing him go above even what I'm comfortable paying now.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're going to talk about overall market health. We've got all your questions from the mailbag. Shout out to JP, HT Sports, Messiah in the house. Let's dig in, guys. All right, so the first question we have up here is from Chris Kahn from the Patreon Discord server. And her question is for players that have rookie cards before the big three sets came out, talking about Prism, Optic, Select, what are the preferred best sets to invest in? And we're actually going to take a trip down memory lane, guys. Are you guys ready to take a trip down memory lane? Because we absolutely love some of these cards from the late 90s, early 2000s. Steve, what do you got for us from let's go back to the 90s, man. Let's just do it. Let's go back to our prime teenage youth days in the late 90s. What do you got for us?
From the 80s to the 90s, you really didn't have a lot of competition. You had like a big three. You had Upper Deck, you had Fleer, Tops, and I guess you technically had four. You had Donruss as well. And we talked a bit before the show about Fleer. We talked about Fleer Ultra, Fleer Metal, and we talked a bit about Upper Deck. And this card in particular, and Andy, I'm going to send you another one that I got queued up. I mean, these right now are only gaining steam. There's people that are looking for cards like this right now because they were very scarce then, and even more so now because this is a card that's 20 years old now.
Yeah, a card that's 20 years old. So I find a lot of what happens like for those mid 90s cards, especially rare inserts. So this is an insert right from 1997 Fleer Ultra. This is a platinum medallion. Very cool looking card. I like the design. I like the cursive handwriting they did on these cards. Even the base Fleer Ultra cards are nice. I also
Andy, this is essentially like a scarce parallel of the base card.
It's just not serial numbered, so it's like a super short print case hit type of thing.
Mm-hmm. And I sent you a Jerry Rice one in the chat just now as well.
Oh, let's check it out. Let me check this out. I love this design on these cards.
I don't know what years specifically, but for example, that one was out of 29. So there was actually like patch versions like that, and that's just a gorgeous card, man. And it's
back when they did it right.
Game worn, and that's what you want to see.
Yeah. Game worn Jerry Rice. I mean, this is a gem right here to have it. Actually, that's not a bad price when you think about it, because at any point, Jerry Rice could autograph more cards, right? You can only have so many game-worn jerseys from his time period, because you think about how often players sell jerseys, how often they give them away after games. They trade them with other players, this and that. So an actual authentic game-worn jersey can only be cut up so many times. They're pretty rare, and I like it, man. This is a really good card. Really nice card here.
And you know what else, Andy? He was not with the Raiders for very long. I mean, if you look at, it's right there on the back of the card. He was with the Niners most of his career. With the Raiders only a short time thereafter. So there's definitely much fewer Raiders jerseys than there are Niners. I think most people associate him automatically with the Niners, but if you're an Oakland fan and a Rice fan, that's kind of the direction you're going.
Absolutely. So let's fast forward. I want to share a couple other cards. So I've got Randy Moss here, rookie year, pulled up. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. No, it's kind of as close as I can get in, but I wanted to go through a couple of these cards from Randy Moss that I really like. Of course, you've got the Finest going way back, which is a Topps product. If I had to compare like the Topps products from yesteryear to today, I would kind of go with like Topps Chrome is the Prism and Topps Finest is Select. That's kind of how I look at it. Topps Chrome seems to be a little bit more liquid. However, there are some really nice Topps Finest cards that I do see a lot of collectors really covet. They really like. The design is nice. This is the Topps Finest. Some other cards from that year, Steve. Flair Showcase. Can we talk about Flair Showcase? Because Flair Showcase is so nice.
And even the base Flair cards looked incredible. But if you got like some of the row 0 serial numbered ones, I mean, those hold their price for common players very well, let alone superstars.
Yeah. And a lot of you're going to see as the grades go up for these older cards from the mid-90s, from the early 2000s, as you get closer to a 10, it is going to get exponentially more expensive because there were fewer variations back then. So a lot of what people are doing is grade chasing, especially if you talk to people that are big into vintage card collecting. When there was potentially only one or two different variations of rookie card for a player, grade chasing is where it's at. That's kind of like how there's a dichotomy shift there between the modern and the vintage cards. And these aren't obviously vintage, but the player, Randy Moss doesn't play anymore, so his legacy is sealed in stone. And outside of a few TV appearances here and there, there's not a whole lot like driving his values up or down. And there are a lot fewer variations of his rookie cards from 1998.
Yeah, definitely. And there's actually another point I wanted to make. I sent you another thing in the private chat just now. And it's actually one that we haven't talked about yet, but people forget that it was a thing, and they might recognize this name when you bring it up because it's kind of making a reemergence in football right now.
And these are textured cards as well. These Flair Showcase with looks like almost like a steel toolbox, that grooved steel. That has a little bit of texture on it. And there's another card, the Metal Universe card. Let me see what you got over here. Let's see, pull up what you just sent me here in the private chat.
So,
oh yeah,
people like myself, and I can say that probably millions of collectors out there. Now, the picture does it no justice because it's kind of a scan. You can't see the refractory of the card, but this is Bowman Chrome. And then you might be aware of Topps Chrome because you had that up until Prism came around. And Bowman Chrome, Topps Chrome were kind of like the Prism of now, right? So before you had Prism, these were the main two sets you wanted to buy, except for maybe like Upper Deck Exquisite, Flair Showcase, etc. And it's just a beautiful card. I mean, yeah, there you go, right there. Bowman
I feel
Chrome.
like yeah, this card is absolutely iconic for Brady, and Brady was only printed in like 100 something different rookie cards, and this one in the Patriots is Bowman Chrome from 2000. It's got to be one of the most iconic football cards there is. Like Steve said, I think Topps Chrome, if I had to compare it to cards of today, Topps Chrome would be like your Prism, Topps Finest would be your Select, and Bowman Chrome, I think, would be your Optic. Those would be like your main three go-to sets. Look at the grade.
I've talked to Brandon about this too, and I know that he's excited about it like I am too. Like there's the very strong chance that in the next couple of years here, you might see those sets come back with the pro football uniform, not just with the college uniform.
Yeah, and something very important to mention, guys, is that if you're going looking for certain Tom Brady cards on eBay like these right here, if it seems that it's too good to be true, it is. And this is just a public service announcement. If you're new, absolutely want to subscribe to our channel, especially if you're into football or football cards, whether it's collecting, investing, you like fantasy football. This is we share a ton of information. This is just a quick public service announcement. There's a lot of stuff out there like this that is not authentic. That is not his real rookie card. His real rookie card, as you can see, even in a non-graded, not even a good grade, a 6 or a 7 is still going to go for several $1,000s for Tom Brady. Even stuff in his college uniform, like Steve just mentioned. So definitely want to be aware of that when you're targeting these older elite GOAT players.
Yeah, and use discernment too, because it's obviously not like one of the big grading companies too. So if it was sent to a grading company, they would definitely notify you that it's not from any specific set that they might be claiming it's from.
Absolutely. Like that Flair Ultra Monochrome. Now, so let's go through a couple more of these years before we move to the next question. I see a couple comments in the chat. We'll get to you guys in just a second here. But I want to highlight some of these other cards from yesteryear, from the early 2000s, before Prism was around. 2005, Aaron Rodgers rookie year. Again, we got the Bowman rookie card. They also had the Bowman Chrome variation of this, look just like this, just with the chrome finish and the autograph. The rookie ticket. Ooh. This is one more set we got to talk about, Steve, because this one transcends this time period, plus it's still being produced today. It's just under a different brand name, right? Before it was Panini, owned by Panini, it was owned by Playoff. Playoff made contenders starting in 1998. So you can get a Randy Moss, a Peyton Manning, a Brian Urlacher. You can get all those guys. The Tom Brady set records, selling for over $1 million. And I
think it's, for anyone that's looked for these cards, I mean, most people, I bet, have never even seen this image before. These are not common. And the ones that do exist are sitting in someone's collection because they're not looking to sell them, and nor should they be. I mean, look at the price on that 10. Yeah. These are very rare, extremely rare, and a high grade, nonetheless, of a guy that's a surefire Hall of Famer.
Now this is a goofy transaction. Let's click into this. I have corrected vintage card prices here a couple times, so they have the price here $1,400. Buy it now. This was July 2020. Oh wow. Well, 5.5 on the grade. So it's just a little. Okay. Yeah, so that's why I went for $1,400. Yeah, discrepancy because it picked up the 10 auto there, grade on the auto, but it didn't get the actual 5.5, so it actually had it under SGC 10. So I did what I could is I come on here and I just click a little report that, and you could report it, but we'll do that later. Then you have the Topps Chrome from 2005, obviously another very iconic, thick cardstock too. If you ever held one of these in your hand, it has that texture, that outline around the player that you'll see on like a mosaic of today or something. But this is a very thick cardstock, Steve.
And I think it's worth noting that the refractors, and if for you guys not familiar with refractors, it is like a prism silver or a select silver. The refractors that came from these sets were very uncommon. I mean, there wasn't one per pack, or there wasn't 10 per box or whatever. I mean, you'd be lucky to get one per box. You'd be lucky to get one per every other box usually. They were like 1 in 40 packs or greater in some cases. So to get a refractor and then to get a refractor of the card you're looking for was quite the challenge. And, in that set you had Aaron Rodgers. You also had Hall of Famer Frank Gore, or should I say future Hall of Famer Frank Gore.
Future Hall of Famer Frank Gore. There you go. So let's see here. All right, a couple more. Matt Ryan, another guy. And Matt Ryan, I will say, guys, while we're on him, this is a set that I really like the finest. I don't know what it is about the design. It's like he's in this old school stadium, like a gladiator stadium.
Yeah, like a Coliseum.
Yeah, a Coliseum. There you go. And I like the design. Got some color match. Got the texture, thick cardstock. This is the finest from 2008. And Matt Ryan is just egregiously undervalued. I mean, not a whole lot of transactions on this card specifically because this is a refractor. So when you're looking at Matt Ryan, I think you absolutely want to go and target his short print parallels. Like this is his Topps Chrome, and this is another very iconic card because of that bubble letters at the top. Like, I mean, even targeting cards of Rodgers, Brady, Breeze, all the greats in this set is a good idea because it's very collectible. They have nice refractor, X-fractor, short print parallels, and Matt Ryan, though, I mean, egregiously undervalued.
Here's one thing to point out since we're talking Matt Ryan. Firsthand that specific card, I bought 2 refractors for quite cheap at the end of the football season. And that finest one you just showed, I have a couple of those refractors as well. Don't make the Big Ben mistake, okay, where, hey, he's going to retire soon, so he's having a crap year, so I'm not going to buy it or I'm not going to invest in him. Because the minute the season ended and he retired, people were paying 3, 4, 5, 8 times what they could have got it for during the season. It's inevitable Matt Ryan makes the Hall of Fame, and it's actually probably inevitable that they win the division and go to the playoffs this year too. So if you're not in on them yet, that might be a good thing to look at.
Yes. And real quick, before we move on to Matt Ryan, I want to talk about Upper Deck Exquisite, but I see a comment here from Matt Overby. Real quick, is Matt Ryan Hall of Fame material? If you look at his Pro Football Reference and you just Google NFL HOF probability, right? And you go to Pro Football Reference and you look at Matt Ryan's QB score, he's already a lock. Well, he's right there. I mean, virtually right there. Higher score than Ben Roethlisberger, and Matt Ryan, I think, has got a couple years left in the tank, like Steve just alluded to. I would not count him out yet. I think he's still got a couple good years on his arm. And then just look at how bad that offensive line was. The supporting cast has been with the lack of Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley the past couple of years, and a run game, no offensive line. It's just been bad on top of bad on top of bad for Matt Ryan on the Falcons last couple of years. I think you're going to see a big difference in the caliber of play this year. This is his final run, man, with a much better team all around from top to bottom. So, and look at how close he is.
The best line he's ever played behind, Andy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's the best, and look how close he is, man. The one MVP, the Super Bowl appearance, 4 Pro Bowls. I mean, just based on stats alone, he is right there. Average Hall of Fame QB is 109. He's 102.6. So I mean, we're talking right there. But going back to like late 2000s, Upper Deck Exquisite is a fantastic set to target not just rookies, veteran players, because they had a ton of game-worn memorabilia in their patches, guys. This is like the national treasures of yesteryear, and a lot of it is game-worn, man. It's beautiful cards.
That Ray Lewis seems pretty low. If you're a Ray Lewis guy, that you may want to go pick that up.
It's numbered out of 50, and it's probably a game-worn jersey. It's probably a game-worn dual-color jersey patch here, 06 out of 50. We don't have a back picture of the card, so we can't get that text to see if it is game-worn. But if I had to take a guess, it probably is. You see, you have a seller that doesn't have a lot of feedback. They're probably pretty new. Then maybe they found this in their shoebox, and they don't really know what they got. But this ending in a minute and a half is our first snipe that we're sharing of the evening, because I guarantee you that's a game-worn jersey patch in there. Look at all that gold and chrome.
I don't look for those super often, but I can say that the ones that I have seen, they seem like they've all been game-worn.
Yeah. 2009, again, Bowman chrome. Matt Stafford's going to be your main chase there from 2009 right now. Look at the grade price difference there on his Bowman Chrome. I love this card because this card is super thick. I've got a Shady McCoy in my collection. Actually, I think I gave that away a couple months ago. But, yeah, I like 2009 Bowman Chrome. 2009 Topps Chrome. There's that design. There's also several photo parallels when they started doing more photo parallels, and the Finest. And there's your Finest from 2009. Another really cool design. I love the field in the background and that etching around the player, Steve.
Yeah, and with the little yardage markers on it, it's pretty nice.
Let's look at which one sells for the most in a PSA 10 format. That'll give you a good gauge on.
I would say probably the Topps Chrome if I had to guess.
Yeah, and this is a Bowman Chrome refractor, so I guess that's not apples to apples. But even the Topps Chrome non-refractor base is on average 750. That's 830, but that is refractor, so we can only assume that the base Bowman Chrome is going to be lower. And then the Topps Finest is going less than half of that. So you can see how the Topps Chrome is the prism, essentially, from yesteryear.
And, those I don't even think have come anywhere near where they're going to end up. That team is poised to make it to the Super Bowl again. And his cards definitely went up last year, right? They went up because he was playing on the Lions, a team that couldn't win a game if they tried. Whether they tried or not is not really the point, but they just won the Super Bowl, and he's still the quarterback there, and they could probably win another one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at the NFC West. I mean, if Kyler doesn't get his act together, I don't really see the 49ers, certainly not the Seahawks, are going to stop them. I do absolutely see them back in the playoffs this year, back in the thick of it, especially with the lack of just elite teams rosters in the NFC compared to the AFC, right? 7 seeds make it in. The Rams are better believe it are going to be one of them, especially with Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, everybody else still on the roster. You bring in Allen Robinson. Love some Allen Robinson this year. I mean, it's on. 2010, Steve. Rob Gronkowski, rookie ticket auto. Gotta keep reminding you guys that rookie ticket autos started being made in 1998 all the way through today. Such a great chase card, man, because these look incredible every year. And they're hard grades. So, I mean, it's one of those where you just are targeting the card and the player. But imagine if you can get a good grade. There's only 9s and 10s. So
they're beautiful. And it just goes to show that the rookie ticket auto probably not going anywhere. It's been around a long time, and be foolish to think that it's going anywhere. So, I mean, if there's an iconic player that you just personally collect or a guy you want to invest in, I think that that's just a guy that you need to have either on the wall behind you or in your portfolio and just get in early, get in before he pops. There's going to be like QBs like Trevor Lawrence, stuff like that. It might not be realistic because they get overhyped before they even come out. But guys that you want to maybe, buy in on, look at some of the guys we've talked about. Gabe Davis, maybe his cards still have some room to grow, but, we plugged it on the show long before those cards went up. And, hopefully you got in at that time,
Yeah, and while we're on Gronk 2010, another question we had from the mailbag from the community, from Trevor Barron from the YouTube community page. Is there a database that you can put your cards in that help track value? Well, this is one of them, Steve. VintageCardPrices.com. Yeah, it is a nominal fee. It's a lot cheaper than Sports Card Market Movers or whatever that is. And I just like the interface. I like the web app they've got here. It's only graded cards, but it makes it really easy to see charts. They also have data that goes all the way back to the late 2000s, like PWCC Marketplace Market Price Research used to have before they went on the outs with eBay. So I like this website. We're also going to talk about another way you could do this, but you could come in here. Like I've got a couple of these Topps Chrome Rob Gronkowski in my collection. You could add it to your collection. You could put in how much you paid for it, add it, and then you can track the price up and down right here. You can do that with all your cards. Now, of course, this is graded cards only, so that's the only caveat with this site. And there's a reason why that is, because it's very hard to get quality information on raw cards when you're talking about pulling data, writing code and stuff. Raven Invest out there, if he's out there, he's got a lot of experience with this. So does our guy, David Jarritos from our Discord server, because that's the other web app I'm going to talk about, Steve, is the web app that he built for us, for the community over on patreon.com/footballcards. It's a very simple, right? If you got this card, say you bought a Josh Allen base Donruss PSA 10, well, you could add it to your collection, put it in how much you paid for it. Say I got it for $250 and there was $10 fees. Now I could add that to my collection, and I can then track the movement of that card as it goes up and down. So basically, it's going to compare it to what it's currently selling in the market, and it's going to track that up and down for me right here in my collection. Nice little easy web app to use. I love how he brings in the volume, so we get a good idea of graded cards. So once again, this is only graded cards, but we get a good idea, Steve, of graded cards sold activity on a 7-day basis. And you can see right now, the market is still very healthy, Steve. I did a ton of digging on eBay today. I looked at hundreds of auctions on eBay today. And what I'm finding is that prices really aren't dipping a lot. I know gas is getting to $5 a gallon. I know the Fed has increased the interest rates. From a macroeconomic scale, we are in an inflation cycle in our country, probably globally. But I still have not seen that really affect the card market yet. Maybe that has a little bit of effect, and potentially, let's talk about that, because I've seen this question a bunch of times. I've heard other content creators talk about it. I want to get your take on this, Steve. What are you seeing in the market? What do you think is going to happen in the next several months? I mean, what's interesting is we're coming into a hype cycle for football cards in the preseason in August, the beginning of the season in September. What's your take?
I think there's a lot of doom and gloom out there right now. Everyone's like, you see, I would say like, a handful of YouTube videos that you come across, it's, the market's down or this is down and gas is up and everyone's talking negative, but the numbers don't seem to reflect that. And you're showing that right now. I haven't been able to, if that was true, I'd be able to walk away with most of the auctions I'm following for way less than I have. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's there yet, or necessarily that'll even get to that point. It would be a lie to say that we're not in a, like you said, the market isn't changed slightly as far as the economy. But as far as what people are pumping into cards, like I'm still seeing cards go for, there are $1,000 cards that are selling for around what they normally go for. And there's lower end cards still selling for around what they go for. No one's walking away with anything for free. and no one's getting even a 10 or 20% discount right now either. So I still think it's healthy. There's no need to be like, sell everything. That's just nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, stick to the same status quo for now. That's what I'm doing. I'm not buying any more. I'm not buying any less. But we're kind of in this little lull between the draft and the start of the season. So I'll admit that I am buying a lot more PC stuff. Because it's just fun. And I think a lot of times we forget that's kind of what got a lot of us to this point. When you were 8 years old, you weren't buying packs of cards to get a Jerry Rice rookie so that you could sell it the next day. You wanted it because you wanted it. You wanted to have that guy. You wanted to have that guy that you wanted to emulate in the backyard or at recess,
Yeah, but I also was not playing fantasy football at 8 years old. I was not placing bets on players, prop bets, playing over-unders on underdog.
I can't wait for that, by the way.
Oh, man, I can't wait. But I wasn't doing any of that, and so a lot of what we do now in the football card market parlays off of that, and it's fun because you get to build a personal collection of all your favorite players, the guys that you look up to the most and that you gravitate towards the most. You like their playing style, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think the market's going to drop 50%. I think the market is going to do just fine. I like to think that a lot of the people that got into the hobby are using that entertainment type of money to make their investments and their purchases, which if that's the case, like the last time we went through this cycle back in 2009, 2010, like we were still playing a lot of fantasy football, it's just like we were still gambling on sports, we were still doing that stuff. We were still, as long as you manage your finances properly, and you weren't using your rent money, your grocery money, your gas money to partake in the hobby in the first place, then you're okay. You're okay. So I don't think that my buy list would necessarily change a whole lot. It has evolved from the beginning. So when I'm looking at skill position players, I'm automatically typing in their rookie year and their name and looking for autograph cards, serial numbered cards, seeing what I can find that's got that scarcity multiplier built in. That's not going to really change for me. And if I'm targeting base cards, I'm going to start grade hunting. I'm going to start looking for the value in the SGC 9.5s, the SGC 10s, the BGS 9.5s, if they're going for like half of what a PSA 10 is, because I know that those companies are more strict in their grading and they're kind of picking up steam. Even CSG, man, CSG, guys, make sure you're subscribed. Tomorrow we've got a 79 card reveal from CSG getting released onto YouTube, and we got 19% 10s back on our order, 32% 9.5s. Cannot wait to share that.
I can say that my heart was pounding. Admittingly, I was nervous for everyone and especially for myself. And I got to say I was very happy with the results. So you guys will enjoy that.
Fantastic, guys. So I start some comments for earlier because we went on a tear there into a couple questions from the mailbag. I saw Messiah pop in earlier. He said, "Is Anthony Schwartz still worth it?" Now, is this because just more and more bad news keeps coming out on Deshaun Watson, and it looks like, he's in even more hot water. It's getting a little crazy for him. Definitely a lot more scary for him. I think his market is down a little bit. There's just now even more uncertainty. Is Anthony Schwartz still worth it with Jacoby Brissett, Steve?
Yeah, I would say yeah. I have noticed that you can get into Anthony Schwartz rookies for a bit less than you could when the Deshaun Watson news broke. And that's probably a good thing because you don't want to pay for the production in advance, right? This is an investment player who you're expecting to break out. So you don't want to pay for the breakout ahead of time. So this still is a good opportunity to buy. And Brissett's not anything crazy, but you're not going to invest in Anthony Schwartz just because he's going to play with Brissett. You're probably going to invest in him because he's going to play with Brissett and then eventually play under a better quarterback.
Yeah, I will say one stat that's interesting from Jacoby Brissett. So Anthony Schwartz is going to be the primary deep ball threat alongside Donovan Peoples-Jones. Those are going to be your field stretcher guys in Cleveland, with Amari Cooper as this alpha X receiver that's more of a route runner savant that's going to be very good at the short and intermediate sectors of the field. Jacoby Brissett, in the 11 games he played last year, Steve, had a 40% deep ball completion percentage. That was number 14 in the league. I can think of several quarterbacks that were significantly worse than that. Now, I know it's not a huge sample size, so we could go back and look at 2020 and see what his deep ball number was like.
I mean, that's above the top 50%. So
yeah. In 2019, he played 15 games, and that was the year he threw almost 3,000 passing yards, 447 passing attempts, with a 60% completion percentage. His deep ball numbers were 33.3%. That was number 23 in the league, so not fantastic. But his play action completion percentage was 67.7%, which was number 10 in the league. And that's big to note because Kevin Stefanski is still the head coach of the Browns. You still have got one of the best running backs in the league behind one of the best offensive lines in the league in Cleveland. That offensive line is still going to be top 5 in the league. And you put Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, some Dearness Johnson behind him if anything happens to Chubb or Hunt. And you've got 2 really good running backs, a good offensive line. That's going to set up some really nice play action pass from Brissett. And I think he could be okay. I mean, according to these numbers and what we've seen from him before, he's serviceable. I think in that type of offense, he could be okay.
And just temper your expectations. He's not going to be a target hog, right?
Oh, Schwartz? No. Schwartz,
no,
yeah.
He's going to be like a weekly boom or bust type guy. So that could work in your favor, right? Because when do people typically binge buy or impulse buy? It's when a guy has a massive breakout game, so don't be like on the sidelines saying, I wish I had a couple Schwartz cards to move after he has a massive game. Be the guy that's listing them the day before the game so you can cash in.
Yes, sir. Shout out to LOB Roses. Welcome to the live stream, Brooke. Happy to have you here. Let's see what we got from James. Oh, he posted up a Snipe 2021 Panini Obsidian Purple Anthony Schwartz out of 16. 22 minutes. And I saw another comment. Yes, Halo's Finest 88. So another benefit, Halo's Finest. I just pop on, turn on my screen, our patreon.com/football cards, because I am going through eBay every single day. And James will tell you, we're looking at hundreds of auctions. We just simply cannot buy them all, nor do I want to buy them all. I do not have the budget, but some of them are going well undervalued. I shared a Melvin Gordon rookie auto out of 25 that went for, here it is. Yeah, I'll share it on my screen. I had it pulled up already. That went for Melvin Gordon's going to fight for this starting running back job in Denver with Javonte, and he's not done yet, man. I think Melvin's got some juice left in the tank. Look at his numbers from last year with a 50-50 split. Was not bad, man. Was not bad. Javonte gets all the love because he's a second-year player. He also had all those forced missed tackles. He was just a beast to bring down in the open field, but Melvin still held his own, and I think you're still going to see some good stuff from Melvin again this year potentially. And this card was numbered out of 25 and autographed, Steve, for less than $10 out the door.
I think I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it was less than 10 fantasy points separated him from Javonte Williams for the whole year. The production was almost identical. So, but obviously one guy is, around or above the age apex, and the other guy is well below it. So that's kind of like you can see where the money's going.
Yeah. Shout out to Annoy 1. There's a select 2020 XRC Trevor Lawrence floating around. That sounds juicy. That sounds pretty juicy. Let me see if I can get that pulled up.
Was that even supposed to be out yet?
It sounds like that would have been a redemption card, right?
Yeah, the XRCs are always redemptions.
We got our guy Rodney Moore in the house. What is good, man? Old school football cards from 96 or 04 are the best. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do have one more snipe to share. I'll go ahead and pull this up. Let you guys sink your teeth into this. See what you think about this. We talked about Matt Ryan earlier, and I've got something that's going to complement that Matt Ryan Topps Chrome 2008. Very nice. We got a 2020 Optic on-card auto, numbered out of 99, Michael Pittman Jr. Raw card looks to be in fantastic shape. I mean, simply fantastic shape. This is number 29 out of 99, on-card autograph. Right now, $50. What would you say is your max bid on Michael Pittman Jr.?
Well, I know that the rookie ticket autos seem like they've been ending around 60 lately. So I would say maybe just higher than that. And then you add in the serial number. It could be in the 65 to 80 range, potentially. There's 42 watchers, so there's going to be some last-minute action for sure.
Yeah, I'm really curious. We're going to keep this one up. I'm really curious to see.
I did send you one, too. Should be ending in about 30 minutes.
I've seen Michael Pittman's ADP go up, too. I mean, Michael Pittman is one of those guys that has, like, climbed all the way to being drafted. Some people are reaching for this guy. I've seen even at the end of the second round, third round is where I've been seeing Michael Pittman go in fantasy drafts. So there's a lot of conviction around him. I would imagine that this thing gets bid up just because these cards do not pop up very often. And I saw the Jerry Jeudy's during the spike. The CeeDee Lamb variations of this were getting into that triple-digit range. You know, of course, obviously Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor, other elite skill position guys from 2020 are getting into several $100s for this card. But, I mean, I was seeing those guys just pop from the offseason hype, getting it up to that $100 plus range. So it'll be interesting to see where this one closes now.
Oh, yeah, he's gone way up. And in some of his interviews, he's been talking about how, you know, he thinks he's that guy. He thinks he's one of the best in the league, and he's determined to prove it. And what a better opportunity than an upgraded quarterback. They definitely have the run game. There's no doubt. And now they have a passing game. So I would think he only builds on his numbers. He's going into his third year. He's got a, you know, Hall of Fame quarterback who's not a Hall of Fame quarterback yet. But I think he's going to have a bigger season than last year, almost for sure, and prove a lot of people right that are spending a little extra on him.
Check it out, man. Second year Justin Jefferson, national treasure. Love that. The brand, the background.
It looks like it's like glowing.
06 out of 20. Looks like something from outer space. And
the
right now,
in the background is beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice, man. It almost looks like a hybrid of if National Treasures and Obsidian were to have a baby, it would be this.
True. Good observation. I like that. But no, I saw that one. I was like, I got to share this one, man, because National Treasures, for one, the low serial number for two, and come on, it's Justin Jefferson.
Andrew Perry in the house. What's good, Perry Collectibles? Let's see. Let me pop back over to live chat. I'll try and catch up here, guys. I realized last week, you know, sometimes a little dense. It takes me a little longer to catch on to certain things, but I can star comments. So what I've been doing so I don't miss people's comments. Like we got Bob in the house. What's going on, Boggy? He says a lot of dealers are group submitters of PSA. They are in each other's pockets.
Yes.
What's the context behind that, Steve? Elaborate a little bit there on that.
Well, I think what he's saying is kind of what I've been suspecting for a while. You've got guys that do bulk submissions through PSA, and they do a lot of business with PSA. And that being said, probably their entire collection of what they own and sell is all in PSA slabs. And with PSA kind of like holding that top spot for resale value, it's in their best interest to keep the value inflated for those cards, for their clients and for themselves. So naturally, they're going to protect their investments and people that are submitting with them as well. But you know what? I'll be honest. We've seen it with SGC. How they started climbing and kind of closing that gap a bit. I think it might not be soon, but I think it's an inevitability that the other companies kind of catch up. You know, when I say the other companies, I mean like the other main companies.
So JP, interesting comment here from JP, and we're going to get to your mailbag question in just a second, JP. He says it's easier to sell CSG on eBay. Dealers at the shows treat CSG like it's the plague. Makes no sense to me why they want PSA to have a monopoly. And maybe it just goes back to a lot of dealers at shows are maybe come from the vintage game where they're so used to PSA having that monopoly, and it's either PSA, BGS, or SGC to them, and they're just so, stuck in that groove, so to speak, that they're unwilling to adopt a new grading company, even if CSG, because they're backed by the largest paper and coin grading company in the world. Like, it's crazy to me that think they wouldn't adopt CSG, but I don't know. It's got to grow on them. It's just gonna take
it's one of those. It's one of those reputation things.
Yeah.
The old school guys who have been in the hobby before a lot of these grading companies existed, or even did football cards or any other cards for that matter. They're either going with what they know or going with what they have all their money tied into. I can tell you specifically when I was at like a Walmart last year. Before the store opened, there was a line out the door for retail product, and the gentleman in the line was like PSA only, PSA only. We were talking cards. He was like PSA only, PSA only. And you know what? I disagreed with them, and I think I still do. I mean, not that each grading company doesn't have a specific and unique place. Just keep in mind too that when you're going to spend that extra $50 or whatever it is to send a card to PSA, that's coming out of your pocket. So just be sure that in a PSA slab, it's worth at least the price difference. Otherwise, there's really no point.
Yes, no, I agree with you 100%. I was not chuckling at you. I was reading this comment here from Derek Richard. Felton is no joke, and Demetric Felton. Derek's full of jokes, man. He brings the comedy to the chat. Tom put a snipe in the chat for us. Derek's favorite. Gabe Davis, National Treasures RPA ending in 6 minutes at $70 currently. I wonder what that ended at. What you guys
check your private message real quick. I sent one for the chat that ends in I think a minute or two now, but I want to see if we can get it up in time. It's a really, really good card, and I think everyone on the Discord and in the YouTube likes this guy.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Oh, there we go.
Man. 45 seconds. Get it. Numbered out of 25, encased, which is one of the lesser heralded but upscale Panini products.
Yeah, I wonder if they changed.
It's got a nice classic look to it.
I wonder if they changed the set name of this from encased to elegant. Just leave everything the same. Just have the E stand for elegant instead of encased. If that would do anything for the resale value, because I mean, look at it. It looks like the 98 Flair Showcase, man. I love the design on this. I like that simplicity of the lightning bolt up there at the top right. Obviously, super rare. And you got that silhouette with the portrait.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the
cool.
Opaque half face profile is cool. He's got an action pose. The signature is kind of like blue ink, which kind of color matches the background.
And it's still a snipe. Someone got it for like 30 out the door. Still a fantastic snipe.
And since we're talking Josh Palmer, he's been practicing with the first team in camp. So,
man, Josh Palmer is such a stud. He's one of my favorite sleepers in every fantasy draft, whether it's dynasty, whether it's best ball, whether it's seasonal. I'm after some Josh Palmer because Keenan Allen is not a spring chicken anymore. Mike Williams is not a spring chicken anymore. And I love Josh Palmer because they can line him up inside. They can line him up outside. He's the type of guy, don't be surprised, man. He's meeting up with Justin Herbert, eating breakfast with him like Cooper Kupp was doing with Matt Stafford last year.
Yeah, I think he's a great investment. And, I think maybe early on it was a hair speculative, but we were in on him. We were buying him ourselves. I know you were. I know I was. And I think that it's now at that point where you either get in soon or you don't, because he has one good game, and you're going to see like the Mike Williams effect of last year, where his cards are going to take a significant jump and kind of stay there for a while.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir,
Now,
man.
I mentioned earlier in the show a Gabe Davis card. Now, I want to see what people think about this. This is definitely a high-end set, but I think we might be approaching prices on him that a lot of people aren't comfortable with anymore. So, Andy, I did send that to you. And I want to know what you guys think in the chat. I want to know what you think, Andy. And I just want to know what everyone thinks, because I think he's that guy. I think he is in the right place at the right time, and the coaches are all about him. Is he going to have 100 yards a game? Or are we talking about like a future Hall of Famer? I'm not saying that. But is he a guy that is going to have a great season because of where he plays? And does he have the proper skill set for that offense? Yeah, I do think so.
Derek is here to bring you back down to earth on this guy, because he says his ADP has
we can
gotten
have a
too
different
high.
opinion.
And we talked about him earlier in the stream. And obviously, I know there's a lot of that. Like, we got to see a ceiling in the championship game against the Chiefs. And so, but I will say, I've been buying Gabe Davis since his rookie year, because I felt that he went underdrafted out of UCF, because here's the thing. He went to a small school. And look at the other wide receiver talent in 2020. Look at the CeeDee Lambs, the Jerry Jeudy, the Justin Jefferson, even Jalen Reagor. When I know dang well that Gabe Davis is better than Jalen Reagor. All right. So a little bit different receiver, but still, like, you give him, there was a ton of Brandon Ayuk. There was a ton of first and second round wide receiver talent in 2020. And with Gabe Davis having gone to a small school, he was simply overlooked. But the Buffalo Bills did their homework. He's got great spatial awareness. He's got a great route running ability. And the guy can win contested catch scenarios. He's got just enough size, and he's built an incredible chemistry with Josh Allen, who throws the ball at the second highest rate in the NFL, Steve. So Josh Allen can absolutely feed 1, 2, possibly 3 wide receivers on a team this year to like actually have wide receiver 1 fantasy relevant seasons.
I think I see this thing get brought up a lot about him, right? And they're like, well, he was buried behind Cole Beasley, and he was buried behind Emmanuel Sanders. Therefore, he can't be good. I don't buy that. Let's not forget how much they were paying those two guys. They're gone. That means someone's got to eat, and he's going to eat.
I love it, man. I love it. Derek said, I don't know about that. Put Reagor on the Bills that put my cash.
Not saying I don't like Reagor, but you like burning money.
So I wanted to go this question from the mailbag here, right? And this is JP. So shout out to JP from the YouTube community page. We're going to get into a serious comping session, guys. I'd love for you guys to chime in on this one. And his question is, like, what is the potential rise of base rookie cards for hot quarterbacks once the season starts? And then he goes on to say, are base Donruss rated rookie Josh Allen cards a measuring stick? Well, if they're a measuring stick, I mean, you might as well. Josh Allen's base Donruss rookie cards are a yardstick compared to all the other guys. Those are, inch rulers compared to Josh Allen.
Yeah, Andy, I want to hear your take on this, because I think that I do think it is a measuring stick. Now, I would say it's not a measuring stick with maybe a Pat Mahomes. I just think there weren't that many cards printed that year. But 2018, 2019, the print run started going up a little bit. They are a bit higher now, but just because it's a little bit higher now doesn't mean it's not at least going to be somewhat similar. Josh Allen's, I don't know if you remember this, he had a couple dud games earlier in the year last year, and you could have got almost any of his cards at close to half of what they are right now. So there's opportunities. There's opportunities, and look at the Burrow cards. Burrow cards in the offseason last year when he was having the knee surgery, those were down as well. So I think you could see highs on them. And, you're seeing that with Hurts and Tua right now. I think that's a good example. And I know that's another question for later, but the ceilings are there. But just remember, the hobby's going to kind of treat only a couple guys at a time as like kings of their position, right? You can't have 12 QBs that are like all at the same price point. It's just never going to happen.
Very true. Very true. Because you can't only have one MVP, right? There's only one MVP per year, and there's only one Super Bowl champion. So that's a big deal, especially when we're talking about like what takes his card to the next level. Like you want Josh Allen's card, base Donruss card, to go up at a PSA 10 format. Look at this chart. Like, this is one thing I love about vintage card prices. We're going to go ahead and go all the way back to summer of 2020. And yes, Brooke, I see your comment out there. I'm going to get to your comment that you posted about Panini, that auto. That's hilarious. I want to address that here in a second. But so see this chart got up to, we know there's a massive hype cycle after the 2021 season for Josh Allen. You can see that card got up to like 370 there, right around the time where they got knocked out of the playoffs. And that's where it kind of fell off. And then it kind of went back up throughout the off summer. And well, it actually kind of stayed level around that $300 mark. And then went up to almost $400 spike, but on average, that card was about $300 again. And you can see that it's again spiked in the playoffs, 324, around 300. There was a really like a low dip there, but probably have to validate that with a photo. But you can see it's right around that mark. So it's like, this is a card that you can come on here. There's 44 listings. It's a base Donruss card, So you're definitely grade chasing. If you can get it at the right entry price point, if you can get one of these for $150, then you can sell it for $300. But just understand that ceiling on this card is probably $300. Like, how much are you willing to pay for a base paper rookie card of a guy who's got 2,500 different rookie cards? And now you're talking about Burrow, Herbert. Those guys have got 4,000 different rookie cards, many different base variations and base sets. And Optic is a big competitor of their base Donruss. So you kind of have to, unless you can just get them dirt cheap, don't expect to buy in right here, like, and pay market value for them and expect them to keep going up. Like, you've got to snipe those well under market value to then resell them for what's considered market value. Yeah, they're going to maybe go up a little bit as we get into August, September. Maybe you see somebody reach and spend $350, but is it really going to go up a whole lot more than that? I do not think so.
I think it's interesting when you point out, let's say this card, when you compare it to its Optic variation, the base Optic is probably around the same price as the PSA 10 Donruss. So that's pretty significant. So, and I think that you'll see a greater price spike, should his card market go up. So that's another thing to consider as well. It's all going to depend on your budget and all that, but I want to take a look at this chart here and see what you got.
So let's see what the Optic PSA 10. It's not a whole lot more. When we look at the Prism, that's going to look considerably different. Let's kind of look at this chart. And you can see the same thing.
Look at before the season, Andy. Oh, no, never mind. That was August.
Yeah, so this was playoffs 2021, right? Playoffs 2021 before they were eliminated. And this one kind of dipped a little bit, but you can see the draft hype, put it back up May right there. We see this hype cycle every year, right after the draft, right around the draft. It went up to 629, then back down where we're at now. And then the season comes, and this card was 500, 525. So it's kind of even just a slightly lower than what it was at the draft hype cycle. And it never really climbed until we get into the playoffs.
You see what I'm talking about, though, Andy, during the season, how his cards kind of tumbled really hard for a minute there.
Oh, yeah, because this is I'm telling you guys, it doesn't matter really how well you play unless unless you performed well above expectations. But our expectations for Josh Allen last season were for him to be the QB1. So where does he go? He's got to win MVP. He's got to make it to the Super Bowl because the prices were already had that expectation baked into it heading into August. So there was nowhere for it to go up. It didn't matter how good he had, how many 50 fantasy point weeks he had, or how many wins he had. If he wasn't touted as the MVP and going to the Super Bowl, then those card prices weren't going to go up.
JP said, can Hurts or Tua get to Burrow and Herbert rated rookie prices? That's my focus. I think it's foolish to ignore base rookie cards. Zig while everyone's zagging. Yeah, no one's saying ignore the base rookies. Definitely don't ignore them. But I think I think that the biggest key component with these cards and any cards that we recommend is 100% entry point. And Andy just showed that graph. If you got in when it was at 300 and sold when it was 6, boom, massive gain, right? And in order to do that, if you want to buy it right now for 300, you're going to have to get it in auction, or you're going to have to send some offers out, or send 100 offers out, and hope to get it. Can Tua and Hurts get to the Burrow and Herbert prices? I think the Dolphins have a chance to maybe win that division. So, yeah, and the NFC is kind of like the Wild West. It's going to be a friggin' gunslinging show. If Hurts can get them and take the Cowboys out, I don't see why not. And the thing is that before their cards went up significantly before the draft, nobody was buying them. Not many people were buying them. So if you got in at the right time, I think you could see some significant gains. And I think that they're already kind of getting close to Burrows. They're not quite there yet, but they're on the way.
Yeah, let's look at Joe Burrow's base Donruss. This is a PSA 8, right? PSA 8s are like not very many transactions. People routinely spend more on raw cards than they do on PSA 8. Like, we can answer that question real quick from the mail. I saw that one in the mailbag as well from Dan Riley. I mean, you're better off with a Cardinal one touch than you are with a PSA 8. It's almost unanimous, unless it's like an incredibly rare card where it's just better to have the card authenticated and in a slab. But 9 times out of 10, you're better off with a raw card, a one touch case, than a PSA 8. This card for Joe Burrow before he made that Super Bowl run, $10. $10. You can see, even just getting into the playoffs, that card went up to 25. Now people are spending 30, 40. Now people are spending 43, 50. Now people are spending 68. That was maybe not an accurate transaction. Now around the Super Bowl, we got 68. Dipped a little bit after the loss, but then pops back up to 99.99. Someone spent, just probably because there was a limited amount of listings and got to have that Joe Burrow. Now still it's around 47.26, around $30, big up from $9. Now we look at Justin Herbert. Let's do the same thing real quick. Let's look at his 8. The reason why I'm doing this, because I can compare this to kind of like a raw card. And Justin Herbert's chart is obviously different because he was eliminated the final week of that season last year, did not make it to the playoffs. So you can see the offseason hype typically for Justin Herbert has been bigger. And this is an 8 card that was $100 last summer. Around this time last summer, June, 36, in that range, around 35. Another reach right there for $89.99. Justin Herbert was playing incredible. December, we have a $46 transaction right at the end of the season. Probably that January 9th was probably that game against the Raiders, $51. Another reach. We see 42. Now it's still kind of hovering around that $27 price point. Let's look at Jalen Hurts. He didn't even actually have a picture of his 2020 Donruss on here, Steve. Let me see if I can find it real quick. 2020 Donruss. Here we go. 2 listings right now. So what's for sale? 10 days, 3 days, PSA 9, 10. Let's see that chart. I mean, you could see the chart for his 10. Look at the 8 going for $2. So now we're talking that's less than a tenth, a 20th, a 15th of the Justin Herbert. This is a fifth of what the Joe Burrows was at before he broke out. So it's all about entry price point. I would never condone, especially with quarterbacks, to just disregard their base cards. I would absolutely look at their base cards, but just focus on the right entry price point. It's important to understand, if you bought it for $20, $30, I'm not so crazy about it. But if you can get it for $5, heck yeah, man. or $10 even still. I'm good with that because these are 8s. And I think that, like, I mean, that's just ridiculous, man. I mean, yeah, you can make money buying them that cheap.
You know, I think it's worth noting too, you know, his optics base before the draft, you could have picked them up for between $5 and $6 all day. And I'm seeing them go in auctions for 18, 20, 25, sometimes 30. I mean, that's already 5-6 times. You know, you got to ask yourself, like, did I miss the boat at this point? But maybe not. You know, if they start winning in a division, they could very well do to either win or make a wild card run. And you know, I think the biggest thing is, can Hurts show that he improved? Can his passing game show that it improved? And can he connect on some big plays with his new teammates? That's going to be the big thing.
Give us a connection with Devonta Smith, with A.J. Brown, with Dallas Goedert. Give us a run, like a solid game from Hurts. You know, first couple weeks, no interceptions, some nice passes, connecting with those guys. The hype's going to be crazy, you know.
So since you're pulling up Tua, I think it's worth noting that Tyreek Hill is talking him up a lot. He said, his words, not mine, that he is a more accurate passer than Patrick Mahomes. Thoughts?
Telling out, man. Well, you know what they say. If you believe it and you speak it, then it's got to be true, right? That's exactly what Tyreek Hill's doing.
You know, he didn't come out and say he's got a cannon for an arm, right? Because I think that's like the most heavily debated thing. But, I mean, does he throw a better short/intermediate pass? He very well could. You know what? There's quarterbacks that make careers.
I've never seen him throw it sidearm like Mahomes underneath guys' arms and stuff.
True.
Hey, going back to the Eagles real quick, you know, we talked about that schedule. Look who they open up against: the Lions, weak secondary. Vikings secondary was a weakness last year, big time. Commanders, come on, let's go. First 3 weeks, I think we can absolutely see some major hype from Jalen because he's already got the ability to just absolutely torch defenders on the ground with his legs. And I've seen him like turn guys' ankles into dust, juking them out in the open field. So he's got the rushing upside. We just need to see him take that next step in the passing game, win some games. Absolutely. From like you said, maybe miss the boat. I don't know, because like the base donruss, for example, if you can still find them, that's why it's important to stay vigilant. Like I think it was just a week or two ago, I was able to get a black Prism silver. I opened last week on the stream, Steve. Remember, I got that card for $27. It was a silver short print, you know, card that's in well over triple digits for the two big guys. But I mean, even Tua, I don't know why I'm not pulling up his donruss, but even Tua, let's look at his Prism, so I don't have to.
You know, his bases you could have got for under $10 easily, not long ago.
When did Tua's draft cycle, hype cycle last year was so lit. Obviously, you can see draft hype cycle last year for Tua. We saw some people reaching $8,900, over $100 for his PSA 8 base Prism. But typically it looks like around $50 is the trend, 27. So see, another prime example, if you can get a Tua base Prism raw card for under $20, I honestly think you're in great shape. I think you're in great shape with that card. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. See if there's anything. There's a PSA 10 for 80 ending in 41 minutes.
Okay. There's
a PSA 10 right here ending in, oh, no, it's already ended. I was June 13th, ended at $80. Let's see if that was a, what am I looking at? Yeah, let me do this real quick. Then I'm going to pop back to live chat. There's some questions I want to get to. I saw a question from Brooke about a autograph, and definitely wanted to talk about that. Yeah, it's 5.9. So yeah, it was about market value right there. Like not bad. $70. That person got it for $70. Like a little snipe. Like obviously you can see what that card was back in draft hype cycle. I do not expect it to get back to that level for 400, 500. I would not expect it, but getting that 70 now definitely leaves you upside to get to 150. You could easily see that. You could double your money. Maybe you can get to 250. That's not bad, man. That was technically a snipe.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why we couldn't emphasize it more. Entry price. Even $80, right? The card in history has already hit $300, $400, $500 before. Does that mean it will again? Maybe not, probably not. But could it hit $2? I don't see why not.
And what is the 2022 Dolphins schedule? I can't remember who they open up. It's probably the Patriots. It is the Patriots. It's always the Patriots, right? It's like Patriots, Ravens, Bills. I think that's a rough opening schedule, dude.
I mean, I'm honestly well, there's two things I want to point out about the Patriots game. The Patriots are pretty depleted on defense, but they also kind of always have a way to play good defense. However, that being said, I don't think they're going to win that game. Even though it's on September 11th, I don't think they're going to win that game.
All right, so let's see what Brooke's saying here. What's funny about Silver Sport, they got a card that said auto is guaranteed by Panini, but no auto on card. So he said, where's the auto at? Send me the sticker auto. I put it on myself. Yeah, I would too. Like, yeah, it's Panini. Mail me that sticker auto. I'll put it on myself and then send it in if it says guaranteed by Panini on there. I mean, shoot, that's wild. Is that a listing on eBay that we can find?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what this is about.
Yeah, what player, what year is that? I'd love to go on eBay and find that. All right, guys. Any more? Schedule is brutal. I agree, JP.
While you're doing that, Andy, let me see if I can give you one or two more juicy ones for the chat while you're pulling that up.
Oh, it's from a YouTube video. Post up the title of the video, or if you have a link, maybe you can post up, or send me the link in my DMs or something. I would definitely like to check that out. That's very interesting.
I saw someone mention Debo a minute ago, so I feel like I gotta share this. This seems like I gotta be direct. You're gonna notice this is not a trading card.
Oh wow.
However, it is Debo Samuel and it is autographed, and I do think it's definitely worth more than it's going for. And I bet someone in this chat would love to have it on their wall.
Hey, and real quick, shout out to Matt Overby here. Minshew auto, 2 minutes. We'll pull that one up too because that's juicy. For the record, everybody, I don't know if you probably didn't tune in to the very end of the 3-hour Dynasty Startup live stream on Monday night, but I did draft Gardner Minshew in the 32nd round. So in the intro video, I way overshot his ADP. I was able to get him in the 32nd round. That's it. Boom.
He gets a starting gig somewhere. I know that you're hanging on to him.
Heck yeah, I got to get more in my collection, to be honest with you.
Of course he's in the intro. That's Andy's guy.
Let's see.
We're going to like that little share that I sent over.
Yeah, let's pop that sucker up. Gardner Minshew. You got to give me more description than that. I'm not finding it. Best match ending. Oh, I'm on best match. Hold on. Ending soonest. I got one ending. Oh, okay. More details. I see one ending in 1 hour and 44 minutes to select, but it's not. I don't think it's the one that you were talking about there, Matt. Just ended. Oh, it just ended. Let's see if we can find it on the sold. Dang, and quite quick enough on the trigger. Oh man, I would have cracked that sucker out. That's a great deal.
Bronze auto, nice.
Yeah, I would have cracked that sucker out, man. I would have get out my table saw. I seen a guy on Instagram do it on the card porn account. Get out my table saw, slice that sucker open right there.
You know, as appealing as it is to buy a couple of these 8s or 7s and take them out of the slab, I will admit that it's just a little too nerve-wracking for me.
Oh my God. So we've got more details here from Brooke, aka LOB Roses. She said it was a Silver Sport pulled a 1/1 T. Higgins rookie auto, but it had a Justin Herbert sticker auto where T. Higgins' name should have been in a Bengals card. Oh my God. That is an epic fail. Like, Panini, you have one job.
And on a 1/1. How do you screw that up?
That's why they keep the buyback cards, right? I mean, that guy should be able to get the buy. I'm sure they don't do them anymore, but yeah.
And they got some phenomenal stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, you're lighting up my private
phenomenal
chat
stuff
over here.
for the chat that I think
Got
they're
it.
gonna want.
I'm on it. That side. Let's pull this open. Oh yeah, I see what you got. You got like a JSA certified. I like how he signed his arm there. That's pretty cool. Debo practice, got the Samuel on the helmet. Was this just like must have been it's just a photo from some kind of event?
Yeah, it's a JSA certified 8x10.
Nice.
I got a couple of those of various players.
Ending
I showed
in 8
you the
minutes.
Deontay Johnson one I got.
Oh shoot, sorry guys, I wouldn't been sharing my screen. 13 watchers, 6 bids, ending in 8 minutes. Just nice little JSA certified autograph of Debo Samuel.
It's a great pose.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's certified by one of the foremost autograph authenticators.
Boom! Halo's finest 88 is on fire tonight. Let's get him. He's on fire, man. He's sniping them. He's picking them off left and right. Bush Leaguers just picked up a 2020 select Clyde Edwards-Helaire club level Tiger Stripe HGA 9.5 for 41 shipped to the house. Bush Leaguers. I don't know. I'm kind of out on Clyde Edwards-Helaire this year. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
he's got a chance to make a big splash because of the vacated targets, but the real question is will he capitalize on it? I think it's a fair play. I think that if he does, that card's worth quite a bit more than you paid for it. So I like it.
What's up with them bringing McKinnon back for another year? And so far in minicamp, it's been Rojo on first downs, McKinnon on third downs. That doesn't leave a whole lot of work for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's all I'm saying.
Unless we're going to continue seeing this trend of receivers lining up in the slot, I think that remains to be seen.
Very interesting. I love the card, though.
How do you like this? I think this is a phenomenal price. There's definitely no way it goes for anywhere near what it's at right now. But never say never.
Yes. Thank you for reminding us, Derek. Always bringing us back down to earth. I agree with this. I've been disgusted by a lot of his play here in Tampa Bay for several years. Rojo can't catch or pass block, just for clarification. But he can be pretty explosive. No, I do like this Matt Ryan. Sorry to didn't mean to distract the conversation there. This Matt Ryan, 13 out of 25, National Treasures autograph. Are you kidding me? This is nice because
for that price, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And I thought it was only appropriate because we talked about Matt Ryan earlier.
Matt Ryan.
It's just a shame that he's not in his new team's uniform, but you won't have that until next year.
Oh, yeah, this was another guy. Boom.
Now, speaking of running backs that will be playing out of the slot this year, Nyheim Hines. Wait, is that even the wrong card?
Yeah, it is.
Did
This
they
is
put,
Rashad
they put
Penny.
Rashad Penny and Nyheim Hines.
Which, okay, so but this is not a bad card because
no, that's it's still a good card for that price, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's going to run the crap out of the ball this year. Rashad Penny, if healthy, has a RB1, like number one running back overall upside in the entire NFL. That's the kind of upside, but there's a big if healthy. If healthy, he has not been healthy.
I think you just got to look no further than the end of last season. I mean, he looked elite.
And that's the thing, you can't bet on that injury bug. Like, obviously, right, they draft Kenneth Walker, but they want depth. Like, literally, if you look at the Seahawks numbers, they play at the slowest pace in the NFL. They run the fewest plays in the NFL out of any team. Like, the average plays per game in the NFL is like 63 plays per game. Or 64 plays per game, something like that, something in the mid 60s. And last year, the Seahawks were like at 55 plays per game, somewhere in that. Like, I don't think I'm 100% exact, but I do know that I was reading this earlier today that they play at the slowest pace in the NFL. And we don't know if it's going to be Geno Smith. It looks like they're leaning towards Geno Smith starting, but they're probably going to be giving Rashad Penny 15 carries a game, Kenneth Walker 15 carries a game, and literally are just trying to, like, I kind of liken it to like a boxer just punching his opponent in the gut, like trying to knock the wind out of him. That's what Pete Carroll wants to do. He just wants to keep going for those stomach punches, those kidney punches with the running backs. I mean, he's going to get all of them involved, and that's why they drafted Kenneth Walker. They're not going to be throwing the ball very much at all. Plus, they play slow to begin with. They're going to be running the ball, playing defense. Rashad Penny healthy, run away from all of them. I don't know if you know this, Steve, but Rashad Penny in college, right, in his final year in college at San Diego State, rushed for 2,300 yards and had an absurd over 7 yards per carry average. Like, the only college running back to ever have a year that good was Barry Sanders. Like, they compared that season that Rashad Penny had in 2017 at San Diego State to the one Barry Sanders had. So that's the whole thing. If Rashad Penny is 100% healthy, he has absolute number one running back in the NFL upside.
Here's a couple numbers for you, Andy. These were weeks 14 through 18 last year. He rushed for 137 yards at 8.6 yards per carry with 2 touchdowns. All right. They played the Rams. Mm-hmm. He had a pretty bad game. However, the following week against the Bears, 17 for 135, 1 touchdown. Against Detroit, 25 for 170 at 6.8 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Arizona, 23 for 190, 8.3 yards per carry for 1 touchdown. So he scored 2, 4, 5, 6 touchdowns over his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. You know what? And he wasn't even involved earlier in the year.
Yeah, and that's because he wasn't healthy.
No, but I mean, I think that's just it puts an exclamation point on the fact that if healthy, that's what this guy can do.
Yeah. If healthy, he's an absolute stud. Yeah, they did draft an RB. Yeah, they're going to give him 15 carries a game too. Kenneth, they're all getting 15 carries a game. Kenneth Walker's good, man.
I mean, I don't know if they give him 10 right away or 15 right away, but he may inevitably carve out a bigger role.
Holy crap.
Shout out to Gabe Davis in the chat.
Shout out to Gabe Davis.
Just UCF, one of my favorite schools, man.
Derek. I think Derek just created a second YouTube account.
Yeah. Maybe. Probably. Almost for sure.
Yeah, the one issue, Seahawks, we don't expect them to win a ton of games, right? They're playing the Broncos week 1, ultimate revenge game from Russell Wilson. He's going to absolutely wax them in week 1. Watch. That's where we're expecting a lot of hype picked up for Russell Wilson week 1, playing the Seattle Seahawks. It's going to be on. So, yeah, we don't expect the Seahawks to win a bunch of games this year. Obviously, the Vegas has got their win total at like 5.5 for the year. So, they are incredibly small odds to make the playoffs. Penny's just one of those guys like Jonathan Taylor was last year, where we're betting on an RB1 season kind of upside. And like we saw that happen, with Cordell Patterson. Look at what happened with Cordell Patterson last year, a veteran running back. Obviously Cordell Patterson has a much different career trajectory and story than Rashad Penny. But still, Cordell Patterson's rookie card values went up tremendously from where they were at before the season last year. So we could see that with a guy like Rashad Penny this year.
And I don't necessarily agree that the red zone thing is a legit concern with Rashad Penny, because Russell Wilson did not have a good season last year. In fact, I'll tell you right now that he had a yards per game of 222. Now that's like Geno Smith type numbers, right? So I really don't think that the fall off is going to be quite as much as you think it's going to be. He only had 25 TDs last year for 3,113 yards.
Look at this comment from Bush Leaguers, man. Bid on 2020 select 101 black rookie patch T. Higgins, orange Nike swoosh, sniped it for 307, and I paid a few days ago. Go by with no tracking. Dude flaked on the deal. Oh man, that sucks.
Dang.
Pour some out for you, brother.
I hope you reported him, because that's insane.
Yeah, report that guy. Can't tolerate it, man. Can't tolerate. We got to weed out all that kind of crap, all the whatnot crap people, all the eBay crap people. Got to get them out. I bought a Russell Wilson out of 79 Origins PSA 10 pop 1 for 125. Guy wanted 200. Bam!
Very nice.
Nice, JP. Very nice, sir.
Honestly, we talked about this last year with Wilson. I don't think that people were like, oh, he's washed up or this or that. I just don't think he wanted to be there. And I straight out said that last year too. And I think that you'll see a drastic improvement, not just because the team's better around him, but I think that he legitimately needed to get out of there, needed a fresh change of scenery, the same way that, going to your job 5 days a week makes you need a vacation,
Yeah, that's it, man. No, it was kind of like Allen Robinson last year,
Well, don't remind me. You know what? And that's a great analogy, because it fits along with what I just said. I didn't think he wanted to be here. He didn't look like he wanted to be here. A guy just doesn't fall off that hard.
Yeah, no, players that are on a Hall of Fame trend for year after year do not just all of a sudden fall off like that, man. There's a lot of it. They were depressed is what it was. They were fed up with their scenario, ready to get out. I'm expecting big change this year. So, guys, we got to all of the mailbag questions. We're at an hour and a half. Appreciate you guys. It's time for us to get out of here. Oh, no, we didn't get to all the questions, Steve. I take that back.
We got the McCaffrey question, right?
Yeah, dude. I totally almost forgot about that one. All right. Actually, I did a whole conversion from Canadian dollars to US dollars and everything for this one. Costa Ciarlis. Hopefully I pronounced that right, Costa. Sorry if I didn't. From June 10th mail day video. Brandon, shout out to 402 Collector, our content director, for picking this one out. He said, I recently picked up a 2016 Donruss rated rookie Derrick Henry BGS 9.5 for 100 Canadian dollars and a 2017 Panini Donruss Optic Christian McCaffrey Red Yellow Prism PSA 10 rookie card for 77 Canadian. What do you think? Well, I'll tell you right now. So we converted American dollars to Canadian dollars. And so 100 Canadian dollars is 77 US dollars. We found the transaction here on vintagecardprices.com. You can see it right here. What do you think, Steve? And I'll pull up the chart. 9.5 on all the subgrades. I'll say that. That's great.
Was it Donruss or Optic for this transaction?
Just Donruss, he said. So this should be the card. This is the card.
Yeah, I think it's probably like around the par price. It's probably right around the par price of what they're going
market
for.
Market value. Yeah. But the whole thing with me is that Derrick Henry has taken a lot of carries in his career. Now, I know Derrick Henry is a freak of nature. He is, comparable to nobody else in the league at his size and at his athleticism, his speed, his workout routines, the whole 9 yards. He isn't he's a beast, man. The guy is something else. He's, maybe not even human. I don't know. But,
I think one of the things you got to really look out if you're going for a long-term investment with him is, he did kind of turn it on a little late in his career. So you got to, if you're investing for a guy that could be a Hall of Fame type running back, you do have to kind of be worried that he's not going to have like the career sheet. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come out as a starter right away. He split carries for most of his career. And
very true.
Will he be remembered for a couple of outstanding seasons at this point? Absolutely. But
still way down on the NFL Hall of Fame probability. He needs to get some championships. He's got to continue getting those All-Pro, Pro Bowl appearances. But like you said, Steve, you're right, man. I mean, it just based on his yardage and his statistics, he's higher than some of the other guys in his range, but still only at 27.2 on the Hall of Fame marker chart, which is way down from the average Hall of Fame running back of 107. He's got a long ways to go, guys. He's got thousands of yards to go. I believe he's going to be 29 this year. And I get it, man. The hype is still there for him,
And, with guys that didn't see as many carries earlier in their career, they do have the durability to maybe go a bit longer. So, it's not to say that, that he won't maybe go past the age apex. Look at guys like Gore. What did he play till like 36?
Yeah. But we have it's just on an average basis. Once a running back hits 1,500 carries, PFF has done research on this. Multiple very prominent football-focused analysts have done research on this. Once a running back hits 1,500 carries in their career, they start to decline in production efficiency. We saw Henry finally get bit by the injury bug towards the end of last season. They did draft themselves some insurance as well, and Hassan Haskins, who's pretty big running back, is definitely going to be a good handcuff to Henry. So I'm just saying, again, entry price point is important. You paid market value. So do I love it from a financial upside? No, but I do think you've got potential there. If he gets back to form this year, I'd be trying to flip that. If I'm looking at this is the Derrick Henry, I'm looking at the PSA 10 chart just because it's got more transactions. I can see that, it did spike towards the end of last season, obviously before the injury, when he was on pace to be the number one running back again, he was going to smash it. And then he unfortunately suffered the injury. So,
yeah. And I think that if it does, get back to that point, then at least you did get in at a good price. The one thing you do have to worry about, especially with running backs, especially with age-advanced running backs, is are they going to hit that pinnacle again? Are they going to have that follow-up season to the big year? And if the answer is yes, then you've put yourself in a position of advantage to make some money. But I think out of the two, maybe the McCaffrey, we didn't get to that yet, but I think maybe McCaffrey might be a better investment. He's younger. He's the focal point of the offense, just like Henry is. But, anyone that's buying into running backs is definitely investing in age, it seems like.
Yeah, that 2017 draft class for running backs is absolutely incredible, Steve, right? I mean, you got McCaffrey, Mixon, you got Fournette, you got Aaron Jones, you got Kamara, you got Dalvin Cook. I mean, geez, I probably missed a guy too. I mean, geez.
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, yeah, another one. So the running back class from 2017 was insane.
Here's a little interesting note while you're looking at that there. there was Coach Matt Rule spoke about their 2021 third round draft pick, which was a tackle. Brady Christensen said he's one of the better players on the team. One thing I didn't know about the guy is he had the highest PFF grade ever for a lineman, 95.9.
They also drafted Ike Ekwonu with their first round pick. You know, Carolina didn't have many picks in the draft because they're a bunch of knuckleheads where they spin for Sam Darnold. But they did draft Ike Ekwonu. Then they drafted that dude in the third round. So hype has definitely, I think, picked up. Obviously, not a lot of transactions. One, this is Beckett. This is an optic short print card. Let's see, what did he pay for it? He paid. Oh, he got a PSA 10. Sorry, I was going back to the 9.5. He got a PSA 10 for 77 Canadian. So $100 transaction. I mean, oh man, but the thing is, let's see if this was a legit transaction right here. Here's a PSA 10 that just sold for 48. So unfortunately, I mean, you could have, this was just, now I get it, this was right after the draft, but I mean, that would have been a nice little hype spike. That would have been a peak there for that card.
I think that, you know, this shows the importance of just that auction alone shows the importance of, you know, maybe buying in an auction versus reaching and a buy it now. I mean, we all get the itchy trigger finger once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say that there's not good buy it nows, because you can get buy it nows, especially if you negotiate the price. But typically the underpriced buy it nows, they don't last more than a day or two. So that's why the auctions are going to be your best friend.
I bet you it was this one right here. Maybe he bought this card. Costa, if you're out there, comment on this video. Let us know if this was a card you bought back in February, right before the Super Bowl. That's been at 100. Unfortunately, yeah, bins a lot of time, or buy it nows, can definitely lead to overpaying. Yeah, I mean, let's see if it was. We can find that other. Which one is this? Derrick Henry. I'm on the BGS.
You're on the SGC one, I think.
I'm on the SGC one.
Yeah.
I get here. I was gonna see it because, you know, it shows the first letter and the last letter of the set of the buyer name. I was gonna see if it matches up, but let me see. Yeah, here it is.
Pulling that up, I'm gonna answer one of the questions from the chat. Somebody asked, "Will we ever see any more Hall of Fame running backs after Frank Gore?" And I think definitely yes, but I think that the way that running backs are evaluated in the future for the Hall of Fame is going to have to be changed, because you're not going to, otherwise, yeah, you would never have any more Hall of Fame running backs, except for, you know, the occasional, if Jonathan Taylor plays the same way he plays right now for 9 more years, right? Which is going to be like few and far between. You're going to have a lot more timeshare guys. You're going to have a lot more hybrid receiver, running back combinations, stuff like that. So, yeah, they're gonna need to take more factors into the equation than just rushing.
Absolutely. Trey. Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be tough for a running back to get to that level again, just because they're not used like they were in the 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, everything is very much more run and gun, West Coast style offense now. It's just kind of how the way the league is. Besides Pete Carroll, that's why it's definitely worth. You do not want to go into the season having zero exposure to Rashad Penny. Get you some exposure, man, because if he is 100% healthy, he can be extremely elite. And so you could just make money off that card based on production alone. Obviously, Seattle Seahawks have a pretty big market size. They have a pretty big fan base. Trey Lance, Snipes, incredibly difficult. Messiah, incredibly difficult.
And it's hard to call anything a snipe on Trey Lance, because there's really no way to know what his true value is. And in my opinion, right now, everyone's overpaying. In my opinion, everyone's overpaying, because you're paying Burrow, Herbert plus for some of his cards, which they have no business being it.
All right, now he gave himself away. I want you to notice here. Look at the little profile. All right. Pay careful attention here, people. Look at the profile picture for Elijah Moore. And then we're going to go back up. We used to know this guy, Derek Richard. Same profile picture.
Ousted.
Busted. I have a feeling that's Gabe Davis as well. Oh, you guys are always fun.
He said Gabe Davis would have 7 touchdowns. Under the alias of Gabe Davis, he said 7 touchdowns. So I'm going to say 11. Early prediction.
Awesome. I will check that out. Brooke. All right, guys. We're out. This has been a wonderful live stream. Always a blast. We'll be back next week. Had fun.
Absolutely. Have a great night, guys. Take care.
Great night.